So I have started the recording as well. So all things set up. So, guys, a very good morning to all of you, and thanks for joining in again, guys, and especially on this Saturday. Okay, and let's go forth and quickly talk about few things which we wanted to discuss about. Okay. So let me just have a look at the YouTube playlist. Okay. Yeah, I think it's uploaded. It's going to process itself. Let it happen. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start off, guys. What is the name of the folder? Yeah, we have foundation course, and let me go here. I have here. And let me now open this up. I think one earlier instance from yesterday was running. Let me now close that. All right. And we are at this location. Let's start off with the stuff. All right, guys. So, guys, yeah, by the way, guys, before moving forward, right, I was reviewing your assessments as well. Okay. Good job done, guys. Everyone, I'm pretty happy to see the consistency you guys are putting in, right? Well done job. I mean, well done, everyone. Okay. So, guys, keep this effort going on, guys. Okay. It's okay to be, I mean, see, guys, on an everyday basis, learn something, maybe very, see, guys, because you have different kinds of commitments. Sometimes you go to college, attend exams and everything, right? So it's okay to be slow, guys. Okay. So, I mean, as long as, if there are some commitments and stuff, you guys are not able to look into it, right? So it's okay to be a little bit slow. Okay, but what's more important is being consistent. Okay, so maybe in one of the days you revise the concept for maybe 1 hour, 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 1.5 hours or whatever, right? But due to some other commitments coming up, like your exams or something in those lines, right? Do not stop it completely, guys. Okay, so even in those days, right, I would suggest you to find out maybe 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Just have a look or have a recap of it. Not more than 15-20 minutes, guys. Okay. But so that you guys keep in touch with whatever has been covered and what's going on. Okay. So believe me, guys, on an everyday basis, what we are learning about, right? And I although keep my pace pretty slow and consistent and easy enough, guys, right? So that you have an idea about what is going on. Okay. So I hope it's particularly understandable by everyone, guys. Okay, considering the fact that you have a lot of things to talk about, right? But I hope, guys, most of the things are getting clear itself in the class itself. Okay, but however, if some things are remaining and stuff, okay, please sort out by evening time. Find out few minutes if you are very busy in your schedule, guys. Okay, I'm already seeing you guys are pretty amazingly doing your jobs, guys. Brilliant work done, right? And as I said, I'll be waiting for, like, many of you have already started off with the placement readiness section as well. Brilliant job done, guys. Huge round of applause to all of you guys, right, for all of your efforts. Okay. And in the meantime, guys, also whenever you find time, just practice things a little bit. Like I understand, guys. Like initially you might like some of it's okay. It's not just about numbers, guys. Okay, so as and when you progress, right, I told you, right, every 6 hours the window opens again. Okay, so attempt it, see it. Okay, and then, like, I mean, after 6 hours or maybe next day, right? Reattempt it if whenever you get time, right? So you'll see your progress, guys. Okay, so you'll get a variety of questions, understand how the things are going on, and also get a understanding about how the placement activity actually looks like, right? And although you guys are all on your, I think all of you are second years, right? So it's still early, but believe me, guys, if you keep this attitude up until third year and everything, right, guys, one more year of consistent, rigorous efforts, right? Believe me, getting a job is pretty easy, guys, as long as you keep your um, practice in check. Okay, you look into the concepts. Guys, go to chat. Sometimes you might also face problems as to understand what this concept is, right? If I'm available, definitely ask me right away, okay? But if I'm not and you want the answer in a nutshell, pretty, what do you say? Yeah, as soon as possible, right? Guys, use nowadays we have all sorts of AI tools as well, okay? So you can go to Chat GPT, ask it, right? Understand what it is talking about, and then proceed forward, okay? It's, these are assistive technologies, guys, right? Which assist you to do something. Okay. So utilize it to the full extent. By the way, guys, I'm not promoting cheating here. Okay. Do not cheat. Okay. But use these things for your assistance. Okay. It's always going to help you with getting you better from like what you were yesterday, right? You're going to get little better what you had yesterday, maybe when you refer it today. Okay. So understand this, guys, okay? And it's okay to take small steps, but it is not okay to take any step, okay? So it is, you don't have to be very fast, lightning fast. Many of the people do suggest that. I mean, I told you, right? Rome was never built in a day, right? So, for that, Roman architectures are actually, why that proverb comes into play is because that architecture is supposed to be like the one of the best in the world. So the way you see those, I mean, be it Colosseum, be it houses which are constructed in Rome and stuff, right? So if you talk about, that's why people tend to give an example that it's so beautiful. I mean, so well built and everything. Okay, that's why we say that proverb that Rome was not built in a day, right? So in order to make that effort, right? So, but you have to take those baby steps, right? So start small, guys. It's okay to always start small, but it's it's needed. What's more needed is to be consistent. Okay, so do not keep away from the touch. Like, be in touch with the subject, right? Okay, and as I said, guys, right? If you don't have much time, give 15-20 minutes on those busy days, okay? And then when you get time, make sure to give well justified amount of time, like 1 hour or 1 hour 10 minutes at least for these kind of studies which we are doing, right? So I hope you can understand, guys, that way you will not miss out on anything. Still keep in touch with the things, okay? So a quick recap of the things, okay? So with that positive note, guys, let's begin uh, our agenda for today. Before moving forward for what's there for today, right? Let's have a quick recap, guys. So yesterday we discussed the crux of Python, guys, right? We discussed a lot of things when it comes to the concept, right? What are variables? How are variables defined, right? I'm just quickly going through it, guys, so that we have an understanding of it. Okay, I can use different kinds of casings to talk about variables, but obviously I cannot use this, right? I cannot have a space and all of those things we discussed and everything in detail, right? Even a variable name can start with an underscore, like how your friend suggested, right? I was pretty happy to see that you guys are pretty um, into it and understand that. But there is a special meaning of this. We'll talk about it today. Okay. So when you declare variables in this form versus declaring it maybe in a normal form, right? If you talk about, right, in variable underscore manner or variable underscore first manner, right? So there is a little bit difference. Okay. If I talk about, we'll talk about that. Okay. And then obviously you have like We discussed about the different stuff, and on top of it, we talked about the print function, right? The type, class, or function, whichever you call it, right? We're going to have a look at it today. Devashri, you raised your hand. Uh, okay. So hopefully we can understand the context here. Okay. So and guys, then we discussed about what are strings, right? How to create strings and stuff, right? And I also told you, right? If you go ahead and end it up, right? It seems like I mean the Python interpreter tries to understand that this is the only string possible. Okay. And that's why when it encounters this one, it throws an error, right? So I hope we all recall that. And in order to overcome this stuff, I can either use a what do you say double equal double quotes, or I can skip it up by using the escape. Yesterday I told you that word escape sequence. Okay, I can use a escape sequence. Okay, so I hope all of these things are particularly clear, guys. And see the use of escape sequences, we saw it, right? Using backslashes wherever you use it, right? It skips the normal meaning of this guy here, and I hope you can understand what happens. I mean, that n is being treated as a new line character, right? Same way goes for backslash t and everything. Okay. Then we talked about the len function, or the length function, right? Which returns you the total number of characters if it is a string, right? So obviously, we saw the type of len. Obviously, it is nothing but integer because the output is an integer. And since it is an integer, I can do all sorts of things, right? So I can also write like this because I'm going to say, it's going to say true because 18 is definitely greater than 12. So I can basically, this entire thing is nothing but a number, right? So I can use that to do all sorts of calculations, whatever you want to go ahead and do. Okay, so I hope that's the advantage of dynamically getting this stuff. Okay, so hopefully, guys, it's particularly clear for everyone. And then we saw that I can have negative indexing, I can have a forward indexing. This negative indexing is also called as, what do you say, backward indexing, which we can do, right? And pretty much it's when I use a single integer, right? Then it talks about like I'm talking about one particular character. Okay. So, and then obviously we have forward indexing. If you talk about, we have seen all of those things, right, in detail. Then, guys, we also discussed about slicing, okay, indexing versus slicing. How to do slicing? You can use a colon, right? So, and you have continuous stuff if you talk about, right? And by the way, in actual sense, there are three parameters here, okay? One is the start, this stop, and the step, right? So hopefully we can understand. And always think when I say steps, guys, always think an actual step, like you're climbing a step, right? So what do you say? Stairs, right? Stairs is a set of steps or whatever you call it, right? So if you keep the logic perfectly in place, guys, you'll never make a mistake in order to understand how the things work out, right? And that's why we also saw that this is not possible because if I'm at 4 and I'm taking a step size of -2, that means I'm reducing 2 steps, right? So 4 minus 2 is 2. So and then 0, then -2, -4. It will never be possible to go to 15, and that's why it shows me a blank, right? So hopefully we can understand the context here. Same way goes here as well, right? I start at -4 and end at -15, right? That's the opposite way of doing the things. And I'm saying +2. So -4 plus 2 is nothing but -2. Then -2 plus 2 would be 0. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So under no circumstances I'm going to arrive at -15, right? So that's why it shows me a blank. So hopefully, guys, all of these things, few things are pretty much clear for everyone, right? And then we also discussed that a step size cannot be 0, right? You cannot have a step size of 0. Technically, practically, what does that mean? Taking 0 steps means you're technically standing at that point, right? So obviously it you cannot bring out a slice, right? It does not bring out any slice. You cannot slice it because you're just saying that go to that. I mean, you're just taking that element. I mean, you can't even think yourself reaching to the fifth step when you take zero. You take the number of steps as zero, right? So hopefully, guys, it's particularly understandable and how it works out, right? Same way works here. And I told you, right, I can keep it blank, right? So if I keep the second part blank, that means that it is talking about the end, right? End at the particular, I mean, end at the ending, right? And so here you say start at the beginning, end at the end, right? And same way here as well, okay? And then, guys, we also saw that this helps you to reverse the step, right? So you are saying start at the ending, end at the beginning with a step of -1. And that's why things get reversed. Okay, so brilliant, guys. I hope all of these things are pretty clear because yesterday we all did a lot of examples and you guys helped me with doing those and stuff. Okay, hopefully all of these things were particularly clear. Then we talked about concatenation of the strings and stuff, right? When you use a plus sign, it helps you to join strings together, okay, or sew them together to do the things. Okay, so we have all of these things part of it, right? I told you, right? I used a word called polymorphism. Today we are going to look into polymorphism as well, guys. That same sign or that same function acts differently for different things. Okay, so that's particularly what I wanted to talk about, right? Hopefully, all of these things are pretty clear for everyone. Okay, and then, guys, there are string methods, right? I hope it's particularly clear that, and we just talked about that the a string cannot be reassigned, or I mean, you cannot change parts of the string because strings are immutable, right? So we have talked about that, right, and stuff. And then we discussed about few of the methods which are part of the things, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know, guys. Okay, any feel free to ask me any questions, right? Whatever you think of, right? I'll go ahead and help you with the answering here as well. Okay. Then we talked about the different methods of the string, one upper, lower, split, right? I'm splitting. If you don't put the SEP, if you just say split, that is going to split by default at the space, right? And if there is a separator like this, right, you talk about what do you say? Splitting it at comma. Okay. So hopefully you can understand the context here, and we have discussed about everything, guys, right? And then also we have discussed about the dot format function, right? If you talk about, right? And it helps you to change parts of the string, right? We saw that I can insert something here and I can also insert something here depending on the context here, right? So I hope it's particularly clear for everyone, okay? So it is important to or mandatory to have a curly brace, right? For um, putting things dynamically. Okay. So same way goes here as well, right? Surya P25, all three of them inserted. And by default, when I write like this, it actually means I'm writing it in the form of 0, 1, and 2 by default. Okay. So meaning the zeroth parameter should be placed here. First parameter should be placed here. Second parameter to be placed here, right? When I write, if I do not exclusively say, it is by default, internally, it is taking 0, 1, and 2. Okay. And that's how it is inserting it. Okay. But we can also change the insertion criteria by giving our own stuff. And there is also a possibility of having our own, what do you say, names here, and that can be exclusively said that F name equals to Surya, L name equals to P, and maybe age equals to 25, right? So whatever I'm having inside can be reoriented in this format, okay? So there are numerous ways of representing the same thing, okay? So you saw way number one, two, three, right? And there was my favorite one, if you talk about the F string method or F string of doing the things, it's pretty easy to talk about, right? Meaning F and there is a string out after it, right? That's why it is also called as F string or format string, whatever you call it. F stands for format, right? So I can have whatever stuff which I have in middle, I can go about looking into that as well. Okay. So hopefully it's understandable by everyone, guys, and makes things easier for understanding. Okay. So all right, so hopefully it's clear for everyone, all of these few things, right? Then, guys, we went to the first data structure called as list, right? We talked about lists are mutable, right? Once declared, they can have more elements inside them. You can delete elements inside them, whatever, right? So you can do that, right? So, guys, there's one thing, like, let me run this code here. I can also use the del. There is a keyword called del, right? I told you, right? There are 35 keywords in Python. One of the keywords is del. So using del also I can delete elements inside it. Like for example, you saw me running this. So I'll say my list of two del of my list. I can delete it using like this as well. Okay. And if I see my list, I can see that it works. So both del and if you talk about remove method, act the same way. Okay, so I hope it's particularly understandable that both require, if you talk, or I mean, the only difference is here in Dell you use the index, right? So if you talk about, so 0, 1, 2, number 3 was in removed, right? You don't use element, right? So you see that 2 is not removed, but for remove, you need to put the name of I mean, in this case, the element number, okay? So that's the only thing which is differed in the context here, guys, right? But both do the same thing. Okay, and also we saw that there's the pop method, right? Or the pop function, right? Which helps you to remove elements. But the additional advantage of pop is, right? It is going to help you store that as well. Okay, so it's possible to store it, right? So your friends yesterday mentioned that point. I was pretty happy to see that all of us are pretty much good I mean good with the concepts here. Okay, and then guys, just like how you have slicing operation in string, right? Same way you can slice in the list as well. Okay, so hopefully it's understandable, right? Based on that you can have it as such. Okay, and obviously guys, I can append by using the plus sign, or I can also use the method called append, right? So I hope it's pretty much clear to everyone, right? All of these things, I am just skipping these parts here. There is a method called extend, which can help you to extend the list, right? So I hope it's clear for everyone. Okay. So and I also told you, right, that I can create list using the list class as well. Okay. Similarly, I can create an integer by using the integer class, complex by using the complex class, and everything. Okay. So hopefully we can understand the context here, guys. Okay. So now, then moving forward, guys, we discussed about dictionaries, right? A dictionary is nothing but a key and a value pair, right? If you talk about the collectively known as a dictionary item, we have seen that, right? And post that, we have also discussed about like different kinds of like I told you, right? A dictionary is just like a list, but an advantage of dictionary is you can have your own indices, right? So whatever you talk about, right? And obviously, if you have your own indices, you cannot use the usual index like 0, 1, 2, 3, or 3. I cannot write something like this. Okay. So unless I define it specifically. Okay. So hopefully we can understand the context here, everyone, right? Hopefully it's clear, and all of these things are pretty straightforward to talk about, right? And guys, be very like pay careful attention whenever you look into it, guys, right? So you see, I am going to my dictionary of key 3, which is nothing but a list, right? If I write type of this guy here entirely, it is going to show me a list. But if I say type of my dict, it should be a dictionary, right? But if I say type of this entire thing, it will be a string, right? So it depends on the context. And based on that, after I put a dot, I will be able to access where if it is a list, all the list methods. If it is a dictionary, all the dictionary methods. If it is a what do you say, string, all the string methods, right? So all of these things, I hope it's clear, and that's what we have been talking about on that specifically point as well. Okay, so hopefully it's clear for everyone, and we understood the concepts here. Okay. Now, so let's move forward. And guys, after that, after discussing about those, we discussed about tuples, right? We saw that tuples are pretty much the same as lists, right? If you talk about, right? And when you talk about the list, right? Or in fact, when you talk about a tuple, right? It's nothing but just like a list, but one thing which is important is a tuple is immutable, right? So once declared cannot be changed. And that's why tuple does not have a lot of methods or functions if you talk about, right? So I think you can understand the concepts and stuff, guys. Okay. So you can do counting and stuff, okay? But you cannot do changing. You cannot use del or delete an element of a tuple and stuff, right? You saw, right? Obviously, once a tuple declared, you cannot. A tuple object does not support item deletion, right? We have seen that and stuff, okay? So hopefully it's understandable by everyone, guys. Nothing critical to talk about, guys. And then after tuples, we discussed about sets, right? And sets are unordered collection of the point which we discussed about is unique items, right? A set has unique items. Okay, so if you have duplicates in a sets, right, in a set, it removes all the duplicates and keeps only one single instance of it. Okay, so I hope it's particularly clear for everyone, right, how it works out, right? And we saw some complex examples as well, just to get a understanding of how a set behaves, right? So if you talk about, right, and why you don't see false, why you don't, I mean, why you see, what do you say? Yeah, so why does false not be part of, yeah, I see the false here, right? Why is it not having this, right? So had I written this before false, this would have been part of the output and false would have been removed. So I hope it's understandable by everyone. Okay. So, and I told you, right, that by the way, just because set does not have any order doesn't mean that you cannot interact with a set. Like, yeah, it doesn't mean that you can't delete elements within the set, add elements, right? So all of these things are possible because a set is mutable. Okay, so one more important point to make note here, guys, it's not there, but a set is mutable. Once declared, you can change a set. Okay, but obviously because it does not remember, I mean, you do not what do you say, a set does not contain any order to it, right? So you cannot say, when you try to remove it, you cannot say what is going to get removed. Okay, but obviously it is going to remove an item. Okay, so that's particularly how it works out, right? So it's best for showing random behavior, guys. Okay, because at random it picks up a object and removes it, picks up an object and removes it, right? So randomness can be really being, so I mean, a set can show randomness, right? I hope you can understand the context, right? And you have always that pop method, right? So that pop will be, so every time you can, what you can do is at random remove a element, right? So that way you don't become biased, right? So guys, randomness is a very, 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 very important thing in all of the things which we are discussing here, guys. Okay, so it's, you might not realize, because guys, I think you can understand that. Let me give you a simple example. Like, you might be wondering, how is random so important, right? So suppose, imagine, guys, like, we all remember that tough time which we all faced, right, in 2020, when COVID was a big thing, right? If you talk about, right, all of us were like, the entire, I mean, not just India, the entire world was in a turmoil, right? And then India creates its own vaccine, right? So to fight COVID, right? So we created our own vaccine, right? And if you talk about it, guys, the total population of India still in that time at least would have been like, if you talk about 120 crore people or 130 crore people, right? Even in those times, right? It's a huge population, right? And you create one thing, one particular, because I hope you can understand, guys, you cannot create a lot of unique items for cater to, right, out of those 130 crore people, right, many of them would be infants or babies, if you talk about, right, many of them would be what do you say, teenagers, right, a few of us would be in the group like us, if you talk about, right, so I mean, let's say 18 plus years, right, if you talk about, right, then there would be few people who are older people, like the elder population, like 60 plus, right? You know that the body behaves differently in different ages, right? If I ask, like, if I ask you to learn something new in this age, which you are currently facing, like in this current age, right? You would be very eager to take it up, right? But as a person gets older and older, guys, right? I mean, they tend to keep themselves with whatever they have learned so far, right? And they are not so prone towards changing the things, right? That's why you might have seen, guys, our modern day, like if you talk about our parents and stuff, they are not so much. Obviously, I am not commenting on anyone, but right? They're not so much highly occupied with social media, just like how you are, or how I am, or maybe someone else, right? If you talk about, right? So I mean, over different ages, you have different sorts of ways of looking at the things, right? So you gain experience and stuff, right? If you say that, does a baby have an experience? Obviously not, right? As and when, but on the other hand, those older population have incredible amount of experience. They have made a lot of mistakes in their lives. Okay, if you ask your parents, right, they would always suggest you the best way possible. Okay, because they might have made a lot of mistakes in their life, learned from those mistakes, and that's why they try to give us I mean, invaluable lessons, saying that guys, do not follow this path, because if you do so, you might fail, right? Because they have already, the many of the parents, they face it on a daily basis, right? So we all come from different kinds of backgrounds, and we know how struggleful their lives could have been, right? And stuff, right? But thanks to their experiences, those of us who imbibe those experiences get ahead in their life. But bottom line is, guys, all sorts of stories again, right? I keep the things light somewhere here and there in between. But the things here is, guys, what I meant is, for each and every age group of the population, right? You have, like, you are creating a one dose of vaccine, right? And you want to test it, right? Because unless you don't test it to the relevant age groups, right? You are going to wind up like, maybe you created a very nice vaccine which is working very effectively against the young population, but it's lethal to the elder population. In that case, you might take, what do you say? You're taking chances and you might lose the elder population, right? There are a lot of things to consider, right? And that's why we pick up, what we want to have is not being biased towards any particular age group, right? We try to take samples from different age group, and collecting samples means, when I say samples, that means collecting things at random, so that you get an understanding that, okay, if I randomly pick this person and inject this vaccine, is it going to work at that particular point of time, right? And that's why, guys, that's what I wanted to tell you, that we might not realize, but randomness plays a very, 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 very key, I mean, key and important role, or whatever you call it. So important role in all of our lives. Got it, guys? I hope you can understand, guys, right? And that's how, I mean, sets are able to mimic a little bit in terms of their randomness behavior, because the moment you pop things from a set, you saw that by, I mean, you saw S2 and it randomly popped 32, right? It picked a number by random and placed it outside, right? So if you talk about, right, so you can do experimentations, and you might now understand that you might you were might you earlier might be wondering that what is the use of pop, then why am I using it and stuff, right? Now I think you can understand, if you are able to remove items at random, right, you're not being biased. That means like you can do an experiment freely and understand how the outcome of the experiment is behaving. Okay, as of now you can see that the set is containing numbers, right? If a set is containing maybe age group of population, right? Imagine you pick one and pop out at random, right? You'll be able to understand, okay, so how is the set behaving if I pop something out at random, right? So that's how you can think of it, and you can appreciate the fact of these particular things which are there. Okay. And then guys, after all of this, we also discussed about the different methods which are available in a set. If you talk about, right, the set union, intersection, there is symmetric difference, right, which is particularly the same sides of the two coins, right? Apart from the ones which are common. Okay. Then there is difference, all of these things, if you talk about, right? So hopefully it's particularly understandable, guys. We have seen quite a few things so far. Okay. And especially the basic ones, if you talk about. Okay. So, guys, yesterday, guys, this would be a homework. I forgot to actually ask you, right? You remember, right? There is a one of our friends suggested that there is another collection data type, which is basically what you say. Let me open up this open board here quickly. Come on. Yesterday we discussed about this as well. Okay. So if you talk about, right? So one of your friends suggested that there is one more data type called as frozen set, right? So I think, guys, you would be able to understand that, you can create a frozen set by using, let me just remove this, okay, and just give a quick demo on the same, right? I hope you can understand that. What do you think, guys? You saw set, right? What is a set? And can you guess what is a frozen set? Can you tell me what could be a frozen set? You understood the properties of the set, right? What do you think a frozen set could be? Any guesses, guys? Anyone? Whatever you think of, you can go about write that out. Okay. So what do you think a frozen set could be? Just guess it, guys. I mean, I don't want uh frozen set is immutable. Yes, perfect. Exactly. Just like how Surya's mentioned, right? Okay. So if you guessed it actually correctly, guys. Okay. So just like how you have list, right? And you have tuple, right? Tuple is the, what do you say? Yeah, exactly. It is not able to change. The name suggests that frozen, it is unchangeable. Yes, exactly. I hope you can understand as well. Logan said it perfectly. Yes, the name suggests that the name frozen suggests that it is unchangeable or freezed, right? So exactly, guys, right? Just like how the difference between list and a tuple is, similarly, is the difference between set and frozen set. Now, to create a frozen set, let's see. So, guys, there is the class called frozen set. Okay, you cannot create frozen set with any kind of a curly brace, because curly braces are existing for only set, if you talk about, right? So in order to create a frozen set, you need to use the class called frozen set. Okay, just like how you use the class called set, you use the class called all of those things, right? If you talk about, right, I can create a frozen set by using the frozen set class. And if I talk about, let me have this, maybe 13, I have 89 or 22, whatever, right? You can see the output shows, first of all, it writes frozen set, okay? And yeah, it is not used to add or remove. Yes, exactly, Sandhya. I think you guys might have guessed it perfectly now. So, do you think, guys, tell me one thing. Now, I'm asking you about logic, guys. Think and tell me. No need to cramp it up. So, tell me, do you think there will be a method called remove inside frozen set? Do you think there will be a method called add inside frozen set? Do you think there will, like, will you be able to do DEL inside a frozen set? What do you think, guys? What do you think? Or do you think there will be a method called pop in frozen set? Yes or no? No, exactly. Exactly. So you are doing fine enough, I believe. So yes, guys, you're right. So let's have a look. Yes, maybe no, as it is immutable. Yes, correct, correct. Perfect, guys. Yes, exactly. All three of you are correct. And just yeah, exactly, Sandhya. You're perfectly right about it, right? So let's see and verify. Let me put a dot and use the tab. Okay. And okay, let's do this, guys. Let's save it in a variable, maybe. Let's say uh, freezed set. I call this as freeze set, maybe. Okay, I saved it in a variable. Okay, and let's have a look. Maybe freezed set. I have this. Okay, and let's see what all things are available. Right? How to use the methods? I'll use the dot and I'll use the tab. I think just look at this thing, guys. What does it say? Look at the methods which are defined. Number one, it says copy. It's okay. There is a set. Okay. You have created a frozen set. You can copy all the elements and put it separately somewhere else. You are not changing the original set. Okay. You're doing nothing with this original set. Okay. So that means nothing is changing the structure of the set. You're not adding, deleting or something. Okay. Then there is set difference, right? You might have seen, right? When you even if you create a frozen set, right? If you talk about, right? You do a minus b in the difference, right? You get output as another set. Okay. You get an output as another set, right? It is an output is a different set. You don't modify the current set which is work you have created, right? So that's why you have a difference method with the frozen set. Again, intersection. If I talk about intersection, right? A intersection B equals to some set C. Okay, that C is a new set. It is not the same set as A. If it is, even if it is set or a frozen set, doesn't matter, right? I hope you can understand, right? You're not modifying because the output which you get, it's not a modification of the original set, right? I hope you can understand. Is disjoint, right? Disjoint simply means if there are any particular common elements in the stuff as well. And by the way, you are saying is disjoint. The answer is going to be in, you are asking the question, is it disjoint? So I hope you can understand that the answer is going to be in the form of true or false, right? It has nothing to do with what do you say, updating the elements, or what do you say, adding elements or removing elements from a set or from the frozen set, right? Again, is a subset. I'm asking the question, is it a subset? So the answer is it will be in the form of true or false, right? Is it, is it superset? Okay. So again, the answer is going to be true or false, right? It has nothing to do with modifying the original frozen set which has been taken, right? Symmetric difference. Again, the output is going to show a different set, right? Asymmetric difference B is going to give you a set C, which is separate from A, right? It is not modifying the original set or original frozen set which you have created, right? And there is something called as union. Again, we just saw difference. Again, we saw what was it? Intersection. So union is also possible, right? A union B is the result is going to be C, which is a different set. I hope you can understand the context here, guys. Is it clear, guys? There is no method in this, or there is no function which says that uh, you can modify these thing or whatever, right? I cannot directly go ahead and write pop because there is no such method as pop. Okay. Frozen set object has no attribute pop. You cannot pop or remove item from a frozen set. I hope things are clear for everyone. Is it clear, guys? Are we understanding the logic behind, guys? Every one of us? Perfect, perfect, Surya. I hope all of us understood the concept here. So, see, guys, sometimes it's not necessary to learn or by heart the concept, guys. Okay. Sometimes just the word is sufficient enough. Okay. So, you'll be able to understand what is going on. Okay. And so I keep the topic of frozen set in your capable hands, guys. So look into it, experiment it a bit, okay, and have a look at it, guys. Right? I'm not going to discuss about it. I hope things are clear for everyone, right? So it exactly shows the way how the set works, but obviously you can't have these kind of methods to talk about add, pop, whatever, right? So you can't have that, okay? So all right, hopefully we can understand the concept here, guys, okay? So with this, guys, I just like we just completed the fundamental unit, I mean the fundamental stuff which I wanted to talk about, right? Let's move forward, guys, and look into something interesting for today's class. Okay. So, and I think, guys, you see, right, in this, like, let's say 25 minutes or so, right, we discussed and we went through all the things which in a quick succession, right? So I hope it's particularly clear for everyone, right? So it's pretty, yeah, that's what I was saying, guys, right? On an everyday basis, just keep in touch, okay, about the concepts which we have covered, right? Just in case you are not able to, what do you say, find time to revise the concept, right? Just on an everyday basis, make sure to attend like 15, 20, 25 minutes, guys. I took a long time to deliver here because I still, even in my revisions, I keep the things a little bit more elaborate so that it's understandable by everyone, okay? So, but obviously, each one of you has their own pace and you'll be able to finish it off in under 15 minutes, guys. Just revise every day, guys. Okay. I know that you're getting everything in the class. Okay. But the only problem here is, guys, right? If you don't keep your, practice in check, you might tend to forget the things. Okay. So that's why, guys, just keep that particular small aspect in check as well. Okay. So everything else will fall in place apart from that. Okay. So let me use line numbers and everything, right? Now, guys, let's talk about few things. Let me have a few things before. So, guys, up until now, we all realize that you can write programs, or if you talk about, right, if I do something, right, in the context, right, each of them gets executed one line after the other, right? So there's up until now, whatever we have seen so far, it's not that interesting because obviously, guys, right? You write line number one, you have a equals to 12, right? So I hope you can understand that I have a equals to 12, or maybe num1 equals to 12. I have number two equals to maybe 54, and let's say print num1 plus num2. It's a pretty simple program if you talk about, but the whole idea is I am going line by line, right? So I told you, right? So in Python, what happens is, first of all, the execution happens from right to the left, okay? RHS to the LHS, right? And then what it goes through is goes through each line, right? So line number one gets executed, then line number two, then line number three, and finally it prints the output, right? So, having a straightforward approach is perfect. That's good enough, right? But you can't do something interesting. Like, for example, if you want to control the flow of your program, that is not possible if you don't write something or learn some more tools, which we are going to cover up now, right? And that's why we are going to talk about the next thing, which is nothing but the Python's control statements. Okay. So if you talk about, that's why you see the word control, right? Why the word control? Because this using if else statements, you can control the flow of the program. Okay, so normal flow of the program can be easily controlled by using these statements, right? And let's have a quick look, guys, and understand what you can do, right? It's pretty easy and straightforward to talk about, guys. Okay, so let's do maybe something interesting here. Okay, so if I ask you the concept here, like for example, like let's do this. Maybe I have, right, so I have num equals to maybe 43. Okay, and I'm just checking whether this number is odd number or an even number, right? So if I can I can do something like this. Like, for example, I've taken the variable called 43, variable num, storing the value 43, right? I'm saying, so guys, obviously, if I want to do that, so I'm going to follow up the if syntax, right? So within the if, right, I'm saying if num is, I hope everyone recalls, right? If you talk about, right, that I can write a simple program saying that whether it is a even or a odd number, right? If you talk about, right, or then I can use something like this, right? So if num percent two, right, double equal to zero, right? I am saying, right, print that. Now everyone recalls, right? I can use the format string. I can say number is even. I hope you remember what this actually does. And now, guys, with this also we come up with the indentation as well. Okay, so if some like when I talk about it, guys, right? If you look into it, right? When I talk about the if condition, right? So whenever I write the if, right? The if is written this way, guys. So I yesterday we saw, right? The if is itself a keyword, right? And that's why you can see it highlighted with green color, right? And then it is followed by a condition, which I have written, right? Where I say number, and I hope everyone remembers that. What is this called, guys? What is this thing called? Anyone? What is this called? What is this called, guys? Modulo. Yes. Perfect. 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 Yes, exactly. So perfect, guys. Yes. So this is the modulo operator. Yes. Got it. So this is called as the modulo operator, right? So, and what does this modulo actually give you, by the way, guys? What does modulo give? What is the output of the modulo? What does it give you? Perfect. Yes. Again, right about it. Yes. So it it shows us the remainder, right? So when I obviously the my number is 43, I am using the modulo operator, and I'm dividing the number by 2, okay, and checking whether the remainder, and I hope everyone remembers, right? If I use a single equal to, that means I am assigning, whereas if I use a double equal to, as stated in the first class, right? This is the comparison, RISION, comparison operator, right? So brilliant job done, guys. So I hope it's clear for everyone, right? So I'm saying whatever the output is, number percent two, whatever the output is, right? Is it double equal to zero? That means the output, the overall output of this will be a value like in the format of, what do you say, true or a false, right? Correct. So it can be in the form of true or a false, right? Depending. So the overall output of this entire thing, right? So if I'm saying, technically I'm saying, if true, then print this. Okay. And if it is false, then I'm going to say print something else maybe. Okay. So I hope you can understand the concept here, guys. Okay. It's pretty straightforward to talk about, guys. Okay. And as I said, right, I have 43% 2 double equal to 0. I'm checking whether the given condition is true or false, right? And if obviously if it turns out to be true, which in this case I've taken, yeah, nothing is printed because the condition is false. Yes, exactly. Brilliant, Jaya. Perfect. Yes, exactly. So I have the if statement. I'm saying 43% 2 double equal to 0. So if we divide 43 by 2, right, we all know that 2 into maybe 21 is 42, and there will be a remainder called 1, right? So the remainder will be 1. 1 is obviously not equal to 0. That means this condition fails, right? So that's why, guys, always remember, right? This statement will only be printed if this particular condition turns out to be true. In this case, the condition is false, and that's why it is never printed. In fact, from line number 2, it directly goes to, maybe if there was line number 4 here, right? It directly goes to line number 4, which is completely blank. Do you understand, guys? I hope it's particularly clear, right? So the number is 43, right? And I'm putting the value 43, sorry, percent 2 double equal to 0. That condition is not true. It is false, right? And that's why, since this is not true, it cannot go inside. It will not go inside. And basically, it will come to line number 4 because this is where it has to go, right? And there is nothing here. Okay, there is nothing here, right? And that's why your output will show you nothing. I hope it's particularly understandable by everyone, right? There is no output. Okay, brilliant, guys. So I'm pretty happy that you guys understood the workflow and how it works out. Okay, so guys, always look into it perfectly, guys. And by the way, let me tell you one more thing. Look at this, guys. The way how you write it is this. Okay, so the if condition should have the keyword if, right, followed by the condition. Okay, whatever the condition you are putting, right? And guys, the endpoint should have a colon. Okay. Okay. So this will show that you are like you have written the condition. So this is the condition header which you have written, right? So the it should end with a colon. Okay. So if you talk about, right, and then if you press enter, if you have written everything correctly, guys, right, the moment you press enter, it will automatically give this indentation. It will automatically give this indentation. Understood, right? So if you have written it correctly, but if you have forgotten something here, right? If you have made a mistake with the syntax, right? And if you press enter, can you see this, guys? I hope you can all understand the cursor was actually present at this location, right? It is present at line number 3 in the beginning, right? So you can understand that you have done something wrong. Okay, so you should, I mean, whatever you write, it's going to begin here. Okay, so I hope you can understand that this is how you can verify whether you have written things correctly as a code or you have written it wrongly. Okay, so the correct way to declare, yeah, so it print is even, sir. So it print okay, you are saying it will print even now, is it? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, yeah. Good that Jaya raised this. Okay, and let's have a look what happens if I write it this way, right? What do you think will happen, guys? First of all, my question to all of you is this. Okay, what do you think will happen? I've written these few lines of code here. What do you think will happen? So Jaya says it will print even. What about others, guys? What do you think? Error. Yes, exactly. Actually, it will show an error. You are right about it. Guys, okay. I hope, Jaya, you understood, right? Because I have written it incorrectly. Let me run this and show it to you. And can you see this? It says the error it says is syntax error. Correct? It says it is expecting a colon after that. Correct. So I need to put a colon. You can see, guys, right? It also says where the error is. It says line number 2, right? It is expecting a, yeah, colon, right? So I hope you can understand. So 2 double equal to 0. I didn't catch you, Jaya, in this concept here. Okay. Yeah. Double equal to 0, colon. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, num percent 2 double equal to 0 with a colon, right? Now, okay. Perfect. So I have added a colon now. Okay, perfect. Everything is fine. What do you think will happen now? If I run it, can you tell me what is going to happen now? Yeah. So if you talk about, right, it's going to still show an error. By the way, yeah, again, it will show an error. You're right about it because I have written it incorrectly. Let me run it and you'll see the indentation error. I think you can understand. Can you see this? Let's read out the error, guys. It says expected an indented block after the if statement on line number 2 because I cannot keep the if blank. Do you understand? Okay. Is it understandable, Jaya? I cannot keep the things blank after I after I open up a if statement, right? And by the way, when I write like this, right? When I write like this, it's going to show me an indentation error because the print statement is not. I hope, let me put a cross sign, okay, here, okay. The print statement which is there here is not part of the if block because there is no, how do you show that if something is a part of the if block? You have to write the code with an indent here. Understood? Is it clear? I am going to write few lines of code. I can write multiple lines of code, but with an indent. Is it clear? Is it clear, Jaya? Is it understandable by everyone else as well? Why it shows us an error? Okay, perfect. So that's why this shows us an error. Whereas in order to sort this problem out, I can just put it as a tab. The moment I put a tab, Python automatically understands that this guy which I've written here is part of the complete if block. Got it? The guy which I've written here is part of the complete if block. That is how you show blocks. Okay. And these understanding these blocks is pretty very important, guys, because the if, then there will be else, and there is for. Everything is going to talk about in the format of a what do you say, block format. Okay. So that is why you use an indent. Okay. So to show that you are talking about something which is belonging. So when I put an indent, that simply means that this line is part of this, what is written above. Okay. So, and guys, you cannot put, let me show you. Can you tell me what will happen if I write like this? What is going to be, and let me put a print statement here and saying that print number 2. Okay. Can anybody tell me what is going to happen now? What will be the output, guys? What will be the output here, guys? What do you think? I'm deliberately asking you this question. I just want to know what is your gut feeling about it, guys? And what does your logic say about it? Quickly, guys, tell me. Indentation error. Okay. Indentation error. Where do you think the error is actually, Saha? Where do you think? For number 2. Yes, perfect. Good, great job done. Yes, exactly. Let's see what we can. You see that earlier it shows. I mean, I haven't run the cell yet. Let me run it now and see. Can you see it says line number 2, it finds an indentation error. Because guys, big, big key point here, guys. Okay. Just because, let's say, just because we have indentation does not mean that we can use it anywhere we like. Okay. So just because there is an indentation doesn't mean that we can use it anywhere we like, because there is a meaning why you put an indent, right? You don't put indent just like that. You want to say that whatever you put in the indent, right? You are saying that, what do you say? Let me remove this, right? The moment I put an indent, I am saying whatever is written above it, okay, which is not having an indent, you are saying that this entire thing is bounded together. But do you think num1 is bounded by num2? There is nothing like that. I mean, these two things are completely not dependent on each other, right? They are two normal statements, right? You cannot say one statement is belonging inside the other statement. You cannot say that. Are you understanding, guys, right? That num2 belongs to num. No, I mean, but I can say that the print statement belongs to this if by putting an indent. Is it clear, guys? Are we understanding here why it throws an error, right? I cannot say that num2 is belonging to num. I mean, these two are numbers, normal numbers, guys. Okay. I hope you can understand, right? 43 does not belong to 22, right? But I can say if this condition turns out to be true, then the belonging statement can, which when the condition turns out to be true, can be printed. Do you get it, guys? Is it clear for everyone? Are we understanding, guys, why this, what do you say, throws an error here? Is it clear for everyone? Yes or no? We are going slow, guys, so that we can understand the concepts here. Okay. Everyone? Yes, Surya and yeah, I think Sahana already understood the concept. I'm worrying, I'm much more worried about the others here. Perfect, perfect, Jaya. That's great. Surya and Jaya as well. Perfect. So hopefully we understand, guys, right? So we don't say num1, num is belonging to num2, okay? So that's why be very, 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 very careful, extra careful when you put indentation. You just because there is something called as indent, you can't use indent everywhere and anywhere. Okay. All right. So hopefully we can understand the concept here. Okay. Just a second, guys. Let me. Okay. And uh, in MCQ, we should complete all the four topics. If you can, but important is. Okay, so guys, I think one of your friends was asking about this stuff. Okay, hopefully, guys, now I think it's understandable by everyone, right? How it behaves, okay, and why does it throw an error, right? We should understand, guys. Okay, best thing to understand is like, guys, if you see errors, errors are part and parcel of your life, guys. Okay, you will always encounter errors, right? Do not get frustrated with it. It's always good to look into errors. Okay, the more you read the errors, it's going to be piece of cake, guys, to understand how a program behaves and what we can do. Now, guys, tell me what will be the output in this context. Now that you understood, let me put it here maybe, or whatever I have. Okay. So output will be 22. Okay. Okay. Is it clear for everyone? Got it? Everyone, is it clear for everyone? How Surya says the output will be 22 and why is it 22? Everyone understood, right? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Brilliant, guys. So if I run this, the output is only going to be 22. Perfect, guys. Okay. So because it is outside the context, right? I have number two, which is defined, right? And I'm printing number two here, right? And obviously, this does not meet the criteria, right? And that's why you can't print it. Can anybody tell me, okay, if you all understood the concept, right? Be very careful and tell me. Okay. Those of you who know Python, I am not asking them. Can you tell me what will be the output now? If you understood all the concepts, you would be able to tell me easily what will be the output now. Do not run it, guys. Okay. Tell me what do you think will be the output? Yes. Okay, perfect. Yes. Empty. Yeah. Oh, guys, you guys have become pros now. Yes, exactly. Right? It's going to be empty. Everyone understood. Why? Can you tell me the reason, guys? Why would it be empty? Everyone, can you tell me the reason? Good job. Why would it be empty, by the way? I mean, it won't be empty. I mean, you can say that no output, basically, whatever, right? Because the condition is false. Yeah, perfect. And on top of it, it comes under the condition of num% 2 double equal to 0. Exactly. You got it, right? So if when I write like this, right, I am saying that both of these statements come under the block of num% 2 double equal to 0. And that's why it turns out to be empty. Perfect, guys. Perfect. Perfect. Brilliant. Brilliant, guys. Now I think you guys are getting pros now. Eh? Nice. Good job. Huge round of applause to all of you guys. Okay. All right. So what do you think will be the output now? What will be the output now? Yeah, 40 is even. And yeah, exactly. So both of them should be printed. Brilliant, guys. Okay. So hopefully we can understand the concepts here. Okay. Perfect. I hope it's clear for everyone, right? So, because both of them, both since you are entering the if condition, okay, you are able to see that it takes in account of all of those things. Okay. All right. Okay. Perfect. 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 All right. Now that you guys have become pros, right? Let's look into a few more details here. Okay, so you saw that I can write a if condition. Okay, I can obviously. And by the way, did you observe one thing, guys? I told this same thing in our Ubuntu lessons as well. Okay, if condition can I mean if you want to talk about it, right, it may not contain an else block, right? You can see that there is no else or nothing written after it. Still, the program behaves perfectly fine. Okay. So, but I can optionally have a else block as well. Like, for example, I can copy this maybe and paste it. And if I talk about, right, I can write a else condition by putting else like this. Okay, and I put a colon, right? Guys, it follows the same convention, how you write the if followed by a colon. Same way you have the else. And by the way, guys, you all understood, right? Else is also one of the 35 keywords. Okay. That's why it comes up in that format, right? And then there is a colon. If you have written everything perfectly, right, and you press enter, right, you will see that you will automatically get an indent. Okay. And then I can say print whatever, let's say number is odd. Okay, perfect. So I hope you can understand the concept here. Okay. And I hope it's clear. So since this is perfectly okay and stuff, right? And if I talk about, right, what do you say? If I put the number as 41, you will see that I hope you all understand, right, how the execution is happening, right? So when I write 41, right, initially the number 41 is created, right? It is assigned to the variable num. Then 22 is created, assigned to the variable num2, right? Goes line by line, checks. Okay. So perfect, Sandhya. So I'm just repeating for the ones who are a little bit maybe confused, right? We have the if condition, right? Within the if condition, I have this condition which is there, right? It says 41% 2 double equal to 0. Is that correct or false? I think everyone knows that 41% 2 is not, I mean, it is going to give me 1 double equal to 0. Obviously, this is, yeah, 1 will be the remainder. And in that case, this condition is not true, right? And that's why line number 4 and line number 5 are completely skipped because it is part of the if block. Okay. And then from directly from here, since the condition is false, right, it moves to line number 6 where you have else, meaning it is going to take account of whatever is remaining, right? If the if is not correct, it goes directly towards the else, meaning obviously else it is else if it is false, if you talk about, right, you have the particular statement that gets executed and stuff, right? Perfect, guys. So I hope it's understandable, like how the workflow happens. Okay. If you keep your approach correct, guys, will never get, what do you say, problematic with the logic ever, guys. Okay. So I hope it's understandable by everyone. Okay. All right. Brilliant, guys. So hopefully it's clear for everyone. Okay. Now, moving forward, right? We just talked about if and else, if you talk about here, right? And then, guys, I can also have something called as elif, right? By the way, guys, I cannot have a condition written in the else, guys. Okay. Let me tell you, right? I hope it makes perfectly logical sense, right? That I mean, if I talk about, right, if I mean, let's say if I say that if it rains, I will carry an umbrella, else I'll not carry an umbrella. Okay, else, and then directly the statement if you talk about, right? But if you talk about it, right, like if you say, if you have multiple things, right, I can add an elif. Okay, so just like if it rains, I'll carry an umbrella. Else, if it does not rain, then I will carry. I mean, I will. What do you say? Move out of in the. I mean, move out in the sun. Else, I'll just chill around at home or whatever, right? I hope you can understand the context here, right? So I can have something like that as well. Okay. So main bottom line is the else cannot have any conditions like if. Okay. So if you're writing just else, then it is just else. Okay. In order to have multiple conditions, I can call it as, or I can create something called as a if, else, if ladder, okay, or else we can call this entire structure as ladder. Okay. I hope everyone knows what a ladder is. A ladder looks like this, or a staircase which you use to climb something, right? So it looks like that same thing, right? If I talk about if, I can have multiple number of ifs, right? If, and then maybe if I told you, right? The else if may optionally or may not optionally contain a else. So I can have it this much, or if I want to, I can have many number of elif and the last condition as else, right? So it looks like a ladder structure, and hence this is called as a if elif else ladder, okay, or whatever, right? Or if multiple number of elifs else ladder. Okay, talk about it. Is it clear for everyone? Are we understanding, guys? I hope it's clear and easy to get into the concept here. Okay, yes or no, guys? Clear? Perfect, perfect, perfect. It looks like a ladder structure, and hence, I hope, guys, it's easy to understand, right? So I'm trying to do my level best to make it in a very simple, plain language so that you understand and you can portray all the things whenever it comes, whenever the things come up. Okay. So now, okay, guys, if you understood, by the way, how is LF written is I can write LF like this. Okay. And by the way, you see that it also turns green, right? This is also a keyword out of the list of 35 keywords. Okay. So guys, I want you to, and by the way, the LF will accept elif cannot, what you say, come up without a condition. Okay. If you are writing elif, you have to write a condition exactly like if. Is it understandable, guys? So you put a condition in if, right? Same way you put a condition in a elif. You have to put a condition, and then obviously the way is pretty simple. Like, I have these things. You put a colon and you put some set of statements inside, and that's how it works out, right? Like be an if condition. Yes, exactly, Jaya. It would look like exactly like a if condition, but the starting word will be elif, because you cannot start. And by the way, guys, yeah, okay, now that you all understood, can I start my program with a elif, guys? Can I start a program with elif? No, perfect. You all now understand the logic behind how the things are working around. Yes, you cannot say else if without having. Okay, Sandhya says sure. Okay. Sandhya, the thing is, you cannot start it. I think you can understand in a logical sense, right? Can you, what I meant to ask you is to tell you that, can I say, like, obviously, pay attention to this statement. If it rains, right, I will carry an umbrella, or I'll just create a whatever. I hope you can understand. Guys, I don't have intention of writing it. So that is a statement, okay? But can I, there is a full stop and there is a full stop here, right? And there is some statement before that or whatever, right? Can I begin my stuff here like saying, else if it rains, can I start my sentence like this? That is what I'm asking you. I'll carry an umbrella. Can I write like this? That is what I'm asking you. Can I start an English, a simple English sentence with else if? Can I do that? That's what I'm asking you. What do you think, Sandhya? Is it possible? Yes or no? What do you think? No, exactly, right? So same way, exactly in the same fashion, you cannot start or you cannot begin your condition directly with a else if. Like, for example, let me show you what I mean. If I cannot write something like elif like this, okay? You can see that it shows me in syntax error, because obviously you cannot have a else elif without an if, okay? So there has to be a if for an else if. There has to be a if for a else, okay? But a if can exist independently without an else or even a else, right? Is it clear for everyone? I hope it's understandable by, the logic is pretty clear, I hope, to everyone, okay? Sandhya, is it understandable what I meant earlier? Perfect. So guys, I hope it's understandable, okay? So now that you understood, okay, the concept, okay, I have a question for you, okay? Perfect. So great, guys. Okay. So you saw, right, that I have, let me remove num2 from here, guys, so that you can have a nice stuff. Let me remove num2 again, right? I have these small program which says, using this, just say that num2, I mean, sorry, if it is an even number, then say it as even. If it is odd number, say it as odd, right? Now, I want to advance this a little bit, okay? And I want you all to approach this question, guys, okay? Quickly, take 2 minutes and attempt this question, okay? I am saying, right? Write a program, okay? I'm saying write a program. This is a small short form, guys. You might have all seen about it, right? Where in which if you, okay, enter a even number, okay, it says even, okay, as the output. If you enter a odd number, okay, it says odd, okay? And more importantly, if you enter 0, okay, or if your input number is 0, okay, then it says 0. Okay, I have written the question on the screen, guys. Okay, I hope you understood, right? So in this case, maybe you'll now we have already, I haven't shown you coding ways how to implement the else if, but I hope you understood, right? So you can have an else if, right? And just write that small program, right? You can have a reference on top, which I have already written, right? And just quickly come up with the program which is going to help us with doing this. And guys, I would like you not to run it. And okay, I mean, no, not to run it, just write the program and on the chat, guys. Okay, simple program quickly, guys. Okay, you can, what do you say? Just quickly write it, or maybe if you are already open up in your what do you say, text editor or Jupyter notebook, right? Write that particular program, and on top of it, right, share, copy and paste it in the chat, guys. You have 2 minutes to look into it. Okay, quickly. How would you do that? Okay. Everyone understood the question, right? If it is a even number, it says even, okay? And if it is odd number, okay, it says odd, okay? And if it is, what do you say? Yeah, um, a 0, then it says 0. Okay, all right. So Surya has a answer there. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, awesome. Uh, Surya, what if I ask you to remove that and condition which you have put? Brilliant. Nice. Is there any other approach which you can think of? Just not by putting multiple number of conditions. Perfect, you have put in multiple conditions here. Okay. I mean, multiple checks, right? And that's perfectly okay, right? Can you try to do it without that as well? Okay. Yeah, let me try. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Go ahead and try that. Brilliant. That's perfectly correct, by the way, whatever you have given as the output, Surya. I'm waiting for others to try that out and let me know what all things. Is there any other way to approach this problem? Okay. We have, okay, quite intelligent. Good job, Arundhati. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. That's great. Nice. Anyone else coming up with any other ideas? Perfect. Very nice. In fact, there are quite a numerous number of ways how you can achieve it. In fact, two of the ways which have been already shared in the chat. Brilliant, guys. Yes, exactly. You can do it in that fashion, in both the fashions here. Uh, Can you tell me, guys, what will okay, let's maybe wait for one more minute here and then let's discuss about it. Perfect. I'm very happy to see that you guys have attempted perfectly. Is there any other way which you can think of? Probably use this React, maybe. Any other way which we can think of? Okay, let's see if num equals to 0 and num percent 2. Perfect, else perfect. So, yeah, exactly. You guys are I mean, very correct about it. Okay. So let's do that maybe and see what we have to talk about, right? So I think most of us have three of you have given your answers. That's great, great, guys. Okay, brilliant. So I'm just rubbing it off from here, okay, so that we can discuss each one of them. Okay, so first of all, guys, okay, like for example, we have like you guys have used the dynamic input method, if I talk about, right, using the input function, right, uh, to talk about, right? So first of all, guys, I think let's look at each one of them, right? So by the way, can you tell me, can I write like this as well? Like, for example, I have, I don't want to disturb this. Maybe elif, I have num, or maybe let's say else, I have else here. Okay. Uh, what do you think about this now, guys? Elif, num equal to 0. I'll say print, let's say f of maybe num is 0. So, what about now, guys? I mean, I think I wrote it correctly, whatever we have seen so far. What about now, guys? Will it work, guys? Um, I mean, yeah, obviously. If I have number 41, obviously it turns out it is showing me odd, right? If I take 44, it's showing me even. What do you think will happen if I say 0? If number equals to 0, what do you think will you get? If I write the program like this, what will be the answer, guys? What do you think? Quick, guys, what do you think will be the answer in this case? Don't run it. Just tell me, what do you feel will be the answer? What is it going to be? Anyone? What do you think will be the answer in this case? It will say even. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Exactly. Surya. Exactly, right? It will say even. Why would it say even? Why would it say even, by the way? Let me put it here maybe. And let's say here. Yeah. So why do you think will it say even? What do you think is? Even, sir, because first condition tells us even. Yes. The remainder is 0. Exactly. Exactly. Perfect, guys. Perfect. Yes. If I enter the number as 0 and the first condition I'm saying 0% 2 double equal to 0. And indeed, when I do 0% 2, you are obviously going to end up getting 0, right? And since this condition turns out to be true, it goes inside and prints whatever is inside, right? Guys, can you tell me where does the controller move from here? This is line number 3, okay? From line number 3, after getting here, where does it, so you saw that it first goes to line 1, checks, assigns the value, then line number 2 checks for the value, then line number 3, it goes and prints it because the condition turns out to be true. What happens from here? Can anybody tell me what happens after this? What happens? Where does it go from here? Quickly, guys, where does it go from here? Where do you think it goes from here? So when if statement is false, it will go further or else it will print the output. If the line number two was correct, it moves outside, sir. Yes, correct. So just like how both of you guys are correct, right? Yes. From here, it directly, the controller never goes to 4 because there is else if, okay? There is in the 6, there is else, right? And that's why it comes out if there was line number 8, right, which is blank, right? It goes out of there and directly goes to line number 8, right? None of these things are checked because you are using a if condition, right? When one condition is met, obviously it will never go to the second condition because one condition is already met, right? So brilliant, guys. I'm very happy. So that is why you are going to wind up having, what do you say? Um, 0 is even, just like how you said it. Brilliant, guys. I hope it's understandable. And that's why it is very important, guys, where you place your condition. So that's why I will probably like the first thing which I should check, right? That if the number is 0, then just print it 0. Then I'm going to probably check if it is percent 2, then you can talk about in terms of having it, right? So I hope you can understand it matters where you place the things. Okay, so if a double equal to 0, yes, perfect, exactly, right? So just like how Surya has also mentioned, right, and the other of your friends who have mentioned it quite back, if you talk about, right? So if you understand, let me go ahead and put it back here. And I told you, right, I cannot start the condition with else if. I'll start with if, right? If number is 0, then print number is 0, right? Then if, I mean, elif, if the, uh, okay. All right, yeah. So elif number percent 2 double equal to 0. Okay, then in that case, the number is even and else the number is odd. I think you can understand in this case, the first condition is met. Okay, since the first condition is met, it directly comes to line number 8 if there was like a blank line. So if you talk about, right? So that is how a condition behaves. Okay, and if you understand how the condition is behaving, guys, you'll never, ever make any mistake in your lifetime. Okay. So hopefully it's understandable by everyone. Brilliant, guys. I'm very happy that you understood the concept here, right? And there are also numerous other ways of looking into it, guys. Okay, let me copy it maybe and paste it here maybe. Okay, so one of your friends had this idea, like he said that, let's say, I can have maybe a condition here. I can have multiple things here, right? Like for example, I am saying if number percent 2 double equal to 0, right? I put that is one condition. Okay. And there are two things which is going to be joined together, right? And if the number double equal to 0, right? I think you can understand in this case what is happening. It is checking number percent to double equal to 0. That means going to show you obviously true. Okay. And if the number also double equal to 0, then if this condition is true, then true and true, then I'm saying that I have the number is 0. Okay. Else if I'm saying that, what do you say? I'm just taking this option here maybe. Okay. I'll just copy it. Okay. I'll have it here maybe or whatever, right? I can also write it in this format, right? Okay. So in that case, I hope you can understand that I can have two conditions combined into one. That is also possible. Okay. So number percent 2 equal to 0 and number equal to 0. That means, so obviously, if this turns out to be true, right? So when this is true and this is true, and by the way, guys, this middle one is the and operation, right? So what is true and true, guys? have I think all of us have what do you say, had a little bit idea about the electronics segment of the things, right? So logic gates. If I talk about the truth table, right? True and true. What is the output of true and true, guys? What is it, guys? If I say true and true, yeah, one or the output is true. Yeah, exactly. One or true. I hope you can understand, right? When one is true, the other one is true, then true and true turns out to be true, right? So if you talk about, right, I hope you can understand in all the other cases, yeah, it is. I hope you can perfectly get the context here that when true and true are combined, right, you wind up having the same. Okay, if I talk about, right? Now, if I move forward and I ask you like what if instead of and I had or? What if instead of and I had or? Okay. So because if I draw the truth table, right? Table for and if I talk about, right? And then in that case, I have the input, let's say X, Y, yeah, and the and of it, okay? X and Y, okay? So if you talk about, right? So X and Y, yes, some. Yeah, exactly. So if I have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, in this case, right, all of these guys, all the three of them are false. That is 0, right? You end up having 0. And only this guy here remains true. That's why you have the number 1. Okay. So yeah, if any one condition is satisfied, it will print the output or get the output. Exactly. Correct. Brilliant, guys. So if I have or here, right, it will be pretty much, so if I talk about it, right, hopefully we understood, guys, right? Just a quick recap of the things which you have seen already, right? I have X and Y, and maybe I have X or Y in this context, right? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1 are the inputs, right? If one of, so only in this case, when both of them are false, you wind up having false or 0. Okay. All of these cases are true, right? So I hope you can understand that if the problem here is I cannot use a or here. Okay. So if I use a or, I hope you can understand that you are fine. I mean, for 0, it is going to show 0. That's fine, right? But let's say what happens of 32. Can you see? 32 is 0 because obviously it says that 32% 2 double equal to 0. That is true. Okay. And I'm saying the word or, right? I have 32 double equal to 0. That is false. True or false, obviously, is nothing but true, right? So in that case, it turns out to be 0. I hope you can understand. So in this case, we are using the and condition. Got it, guys? To sort out this simple problem here. Okay. Perfect, guys. I hope it's clear for everyone, guys, and we are able to understand what is going on. Okay. Great job done, guys. Okay. So I hope it's clear for each and every one of us. Okay. There is yet another way of doing the same thing. Okay. And let me take this same thing. Okay. I can also do it in this fashion. Like, for example, let me remove what do you say? I can do it like this. Look at this, guys. So else I have that, whatever, right? If, look at this, guys. Okay. So if num percent 2 double equal to 0, okay, that means if it is an even number, okay, then inside that, guys, pay attention. I can do this. Can I not do this? If num double equal to 0, then I am printing, what do you say, 0 or whatever, right? And I'm saying else print whatever I have. Let's say number is even. Can I do like this as well, guys? What do you think? Look at it and carefully look at it and tell me what is going to happen. Can I do like this? Yes or no? It will show even. Perfect. Yes, it is going to show me even. What will it show if I have the number zero here? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was coming to that next. Okay. What will the output show if I have the number zero here? What will happen, guys? What will it show, guys? If I have the number zero, what happens? Let's quickly discuss about it, guys. Okay. So for some of the people here, okay. So I have initially set the number as zero. Okay. From here, obviously, I go to the next condition. It says if, yeah, exactly. So it's going to show zero, right? So I have 0% to double equal to zero. Okay, perfect. This turns out to be true, obviously, right? From here, it goes inside because this if condition is having this block. This entire block is part of this if condition. Okay. So within this, there is another if, right? So I have another if. This means like a nested. This is called as the nested if structure as well. Okay. Surya says zero. Perfect. Yes, exactly. Right. So again, inside this, I'm checking a condition. Okay. I'm into this and says if number, which is nothing but zero, double equal to zero. Indeed, that condition is also true. And that's why it goes inside and prints zero. Obviously, since this if is exhausted, right, there is the else here, right, which will never be reached. So if this is correct, then from here, the controller directly moves to the place as line number 8. Do you get it? Right? For because this else is exhausted, right? For this if, right? It is exhausted because it has already printed the if, right? From here, it directly moves towards line number 8 because it never reaches the else, right? And line number 8, it has what? Again, the if condition was already met, right? And from here, because if is already met, right? It is never going to go to the else. From here again, it moves directly towards the outside of the stuff. It is never going to because it's going to skip because I hope you can understand from here for the if is already entered, right? The moment it enters if, that means the else will never get reached. Okay. So I hope it's clear for everyone, right? So that's how it particularly works like. So I hope let's take the instead of taking the number zero, let me take the number as 91. If the number is 91 or a even number, odd number, right? In that case, okay, it checks, right? 91% to double equal to zero. Obviously, it's not correct. Okay. So all these guys entirely are skipped because this is part of this if statement. Okay. So from here, it directly moves from here to the else condition. And whatever is there in the else condition is gets executed. Is it clear for everyone? Are we able to understand, guys? I hope it's clear for all of us. Yes or no, guys? Is it understandable? Brilliant. All right. So perfect, Surya. Thank you, guys, so much. All right. So I hope you can understand, guys. So see, guys, you did not even realize we have already written 10 lines of code, right? So coding is not that very difficult, guys, if you understand what is going on line by line. Okay. So give yourself time, guys, right? Do not get afraid about when you see big codes, guys. Okay. At the end of the day, it's a pretty simple stuff if you look into it gradually, guys. Okay. So make it a habit of looking into it, guys. Okay, and understanding the concept. Okay. So now, guys, let me do one thing. There's one thing which I wanted to ask you. Okay. So if you understood everything, okay, if everyone has understood everything, can you tell me what will be the output in this scenario? Can anybody tell me what will be the output in this scenario? I've written some lines of code here. If you have understood everything, You'll be able to tell me what will be the output. Glare at it and tell me what is going on here. Do not execute it, guys. Look into it, right? Make it a habit, okay? Do not write the code, guys. Look how I have written it, okay? And then tell me what is going to happen in this case without executing. And you have to explain me the reasoning as well, okay? Whatever you say, okay? Okay, so what do you think will be the output? Maybe two if conditions will be printed. Okay, okay. So indeed, it's correct, guys. So, I mean, Pratisha says 0. Okay. So, okay, let's look at it and understand what is going on. Okay. So, you'll be able to get it, guys, pretty easily if you understand the concept here. Okay. So, initially, I have the number 0. Okay. I'm saying just go line by line, guys. No need to hurry. Okay. Now, I'm going to the next, right? There is a if, right? So guys, always try to draw, okay? In your mind, guys, try to draw boxes, okay? You'll understand. So there is a if here, okay? Let me remove this box. By the way, it is not something which I wanted to discuss. Okay, yeah. So there are two boxes. I mean, if you talk about, right, from here, number is assigned as I mean, 0 is assigned to the variable called number, okay? And then I go to line number 2. Line number 2 has a if condition, okay? I have condition here, okay, if you talk about, right, 0 and it's even is printed. Yes, exactly. We'll have multiple if statements. Yes, exactly. So perfect, perfect. I hope you understood, right, that what happens is you have what do you say, line number 2 and line number 3, okay? So this is part of one block, right? And by the way, this if does not have any else, by the way. And I told you, right? If can exist independently. Okay. So this is first block of if. Okay, if I talk about, right? And there is no subsequent else for this if, right? Then there is another if here, okay? And if there is a else, okay? If there is some else then I told you, right? Else cannot exist independently, right? It has to be part of the if, right? But which if will it be part of? Okay, it will be part of this if block, the immediate if block on top of it. Okay, so this becomes the next entire complete block. Okay, so first, or I have second block of, I can say if and else. Okay, because else cannot exist independently if there is, so that's why I'm calling it as a block, right? There are set of statements inside if which will be part of, I mean, I think you can understand. I can say this statement is part of this block, if block, okay? And this statement is part of this block, right? And then if you understand that this entire thing is a building, right? These are floors, right? So floor 1 and floor 2, right? I hope you can understand. But the entire thing is like a building, if you can understand the context here, okay? So I hope we can understand and appreciate the fact here, okay, that how it works out, and we are able to keep it up here, okay. So if number percent 2 double equal to 0, I'm saying this, but this particular thing is one particular block, right? So when I say num equal to 0, 0 double equal to 0, obviously the condition is true. That's why 0 is printed, okay. Then from here, it does not go outside. Why? Because it encounters another if. Okay. If there was a elif, it would have skipped it completely. There is no need for else if, because there is a if and then there is a else if. I hope you can understand, right? But it is again starting with a if. Okay. I hope you can understand. So from here, the controller moves to line number 4, which is again having a if. Okay. Now let's check this condition. 0% 2 double equal to 0. Indeed, that is also true. Okay, so that means it goes inside and prints number is even. But for this if there is a else, okay, that's why from here it never goes to line number 6. It directly goes to line number 8, or if I mean a blank line. Is it clear for everyone, guys, and how the execution is happening here? Clear about it? Yes or no? Are we getting it, guys? Yes, guys, or no? Got it? Brilliant. So I hope it's particularly easy to understand how the things work out. Okay. And because of these circumstances, right, you are going to end up having 0 is even and 0 is 0 as well, right? So it's like, guys, you can, for your convenience, you can even put some spaces to understand. Okay. So this entire thing is one block, which is the if, because there is no subsequent else. And then there is again starting with a if. So this is block number 2. Okay. So I hope it's clear for everyone. Okay. All right. So you guys are becoming pretty confident enough. Nice. I am happy to see that, guys. So I think, guys, all sorts of things we have already discussed. Now, whatever is remaining, I'll probably quickly talk about that as well. Okay. So, guys, I can also have something like this. Let's say if true, then print yes, it was true. Like, for example, I told you, right? I can have directly a condition, right? Like here, you were mentioning number percent, I mean, number equal to 2, number equal to 0. That means this turned out, if I write like this, I hope you can understand. If I just write this, okay, here, okay, without the if condition and everything, yeah, obviously the answer is going to be either true or false. Okay, so if you can understand, if I put exclamation, that is not right, it is going to show me in the form of true or false, right? I hope you can understand, right? So I can skip this condition part, right? And I can directly write the condition as well. Can you see this, guys? If true or if false, then print this. Are you getting it, guys? I can write it this way as well. Okay, what it simply means is if it is true, you are going to end up having this. Okay, I hope you can understand the context here. Okay, now, guys, can you, if you understood this stuff, okay, if you have understood everything, okay, in the context, right, can you tell me what is the output going to be here and why? What is the output going to be here and why? You all understood, right? I can directly write it as if true, and whatever the print statement inside it is gets executed. Okay. So I have x equal to false here. If x, then yes, it was true. Else it will be printed in any case where it is not true or whatever. What do you think? What is going to be printed here? Will the if get executed or the else get executed? What do you think? What is your gut feeling saying this? Or what is your logic saying here? Let's say else gets executed. Yes, correct, correct, correct. Good job, Sana. Only else gets executed for a very simple reason that if only gets executed if it is true, guys. If it is true, only then if gets executed. Okay, yeah, by maybe it takes if statement as true by default. Okay, see, yeah, true by default, if you talk about, right, I have said on top that x equal to false, right? Okay, when it is only true, yeah, exactly, exactly. I hope you can understand. If only gets executed when it is true, because look at this, guys. Let me see. There is nothing new about it. Like, it is not nothing fancy. Look at this. If number double equal to 0, I say only if the answer is true, this gets executed. Do you understand? Again, same case here. Only if this entire answer is true, this gets executed. Okay. even if it is, I mean, if it is false, right? If I write deliberately as false, again, if is never going to get executed because this fundamental idea behind taking if condition is it takes if when true, then it gets executed. Else, it's null and void. Do we get it, guys? Is it clear for everyone? Okay. And that's why those of you who said the else part will get executed, indeed, that is exactly what is going to happen, right? Because you are saying X is false, right? And if you are actually writing if false. So if it is also same as writing if false, if I write like this, still you are going to wind up having else. Do you get it, guys? I hope you can understand the context, right? Just because we have taken the, because if only by default, obviously, it will take only true, right? If it is true, that's why you say, right? Else, whatever, what is else means, guys? If it is, if something is not true, that means it is false, right? What is the complement of true? That is false, right? So that's why else gets executed, right? But however, if my X was actually true, in that case, you would have gotten true, correct? So I hope it's understandable by everyone. Clear, everyone? Yes or no? Understood, right? So this is a little bit tricky, but it's understandable by logic, guys. It's very easy to understand by logic. Okay. So I hope you can understand and appreciate the fact. Okay. Now, I can also have multiple number of branches, guys. We have already discussed about it, right? So location is Andhra Pradesh. I have if LOC is Bangalore, then print welcome to Bangalore. Elif LOC is what do you say? Andhra Pradesh, welcome to Andhra Pradesh, and else. So it's the easiest possible thing which we have already discussed. We have discussed a lot of complicated things already. Okay. So hopefully it's understandable how it works out. Okay. Now, guys, we'll talk about the for loop next, okay? And before we do that, guys, let's take a quick, what do you say, 10 minutes break. Let's join at 11:30, okay? So let's be back at 11:30. Let me go to say break timing, increase it to 10 and this. So, all right, guys, let's be back at 10 minutes. I forgot to put my cameras off, guys. Yeah. Hello, guys. Uh, Hello, guys. Sorry to be back a bit early. Uh, Guys, am I audible to all of you? Um, is there anyone here? Are we there, guys? Everyone? Guys, are we there? Anyone here? Okay, okay, perfect, perfect.